Are your intake specialists always chasing the next best thing? Are you tired of rehiring and retraining because they think the grass is always greener? This episode is for you. I am Tyler Dolph, CEO of our agency, Rocket Clicks. It is a digital advertising agency solely focused on helping family law firms generate more leads and turn those leads into revenue. And with me today is Anthony Carls. He is the president of our agency and also the co-founder of our law firm, Sterling Lawyers, which has grown to over 32 family law attorneys. In this episode, we're talking about the myth of job hopping in a law firm, why this happens, why the whole grass is greener theory is wrong, and what law firm leaders can do to protect their team from chasing illusions instead of building success where they are. I really hope you enjoy it. I think we've talked about this a lot internally at both our law firm and our agency, where maybe you have a younger team member and they get some recruiter reaching out to them, and they hop over to some new company with the thought that it's going to be the greatest thing ever, only to realize maybe it's not as great. And so today we're going to talk through kind of 5 ideologies or theories as it relates to greener pastures. Tony, the first one being that the greener pastures mentality is often just skepticism.
Yeah, it's usually escapism. Like how do you escape from your current reality and kind of not deal with what's in front of you, and kind of because oftentimes there's always 2 sides to every situation, right? And oftentimes we, especially in today's culture, we overly become victims and like are conditioned to believe victim mentality is okay, and we kind of have a lot of self-talk that's really not healthy. And what ends up happening is we kind of get sold by a greener pasture, and the reality is like all the problems I have today, they're gonna like come with me to that new place, and I really just need to deal with me. I need to deal with me and like figure out what's holding me back, understand like why I'm not successful, versus blaming the situation or the boss or the manager or whatever on the as the problem. And there might be, like, there's always legitimate circumstances there, but we see this a lot in recruiting, where you see a job hopping resume, and like, we're talking sales primarily in this series, but this happens with all team members. This is not just a sales thing. We've seen this with attorneys. We joked recently, Jeff Hughes and I, about one of our first, she was our third hire, maybe fourth hire, can't remember what number, but she joined. We looked at her resume then. She had bounced around. She had like 3 different jobs, 4 years each time. She was with us for 4 years. She then went somewhere else. She was then with them for 4 years. Now she's somewhere else. We kind of just followed it, and it's like that pattern that it shows up, and it's just interesting because it's from my perspective, from my experience, it's detrimental to long-term impact and growth and earning potential.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it probably follows culture. If you look back at, our parents and especially our grandparents, they were in their job for 20, 30 years. They retired at their first job or maybe their second job. That's definitely not the culture anymore. The culture, today's environment, is go to a place, you try and use it as a launch pad for whatever's next, and you just try and, get that raise or get that next salary bump job after job. But I think, to your point, the problem there is you're not actually developing any solid skills. You're not leveling up as an individual, even if, hey, you're getting paid a little bit more each time. There's got to be a ceiling there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think oftentimes in these circumstances, you see people that will jump around and like continue to jump and climb a ladder. And those are slightly different circumstances, but what you'll see more often, those are what I would call special cases. More often you'll see the same exact title over and over and over again at a whole bunch of different places. And really what that should be an indication is poor performance. And it's like, it's really an opportunity for reflection. Like something about what I'm doing isn't working, because now the common thread is like, I'm in this role continuously. I'm not progressing in this role ever. Like I'm
Right. Like I've
always
been an intake specialist at now 4 law firms.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And the to me, the solve is building a great culture, being able to grow and develop your team members. But there's just this. It's sad. There's just a culture of I think
Yeah.
it's going to be better somewhere else without looking internally.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's really important on this, we do talk about it with our sales team, we do it with our all team. Um, if you're not constantly trying to train and develop new skills, like you're probably doing it wrong. Like there's something off, because if you're not actually trying to get better, other people are. They're passing you up. So, like that's in a culture where you are doing that, you require that of your team. Everybody grows, but those that don't really want to be a part of that, they'll often leave. And the reality is like they leave because they don't want to develop. They want to just be here, be comfortable. I just want to do my 9 to 5. I want to just punch in and punch out. I don't really want to invest. I don't want to get better. I went to school for, I went to high school, and then I went to college, and then I went to law school, and I just want to do this now. Don't bother me. It's like, okay, that's the best you now are. And you're going to regret it. You right. It's, often that leads to poor performance, and people then want to leave because the situation isn't working out, quote unquote. And reality is like, you're not changing. AI is going to change the world for all of us. If you're not using AI right now, don't be surprised when the world changes and you're frustrated. But that's on you. That's not AI's fault. It's a tool. If you don't use the tool, you're going to be left behind.
And someone's probably going to have to tell you that. I think that, our second point here is that poor performance fuels the urge to leave, right? So let's say that you haven't been growing and developing as an individual, as an intake specialist or in a sales role or whatever it is. Well, then someone's going to have to give you that perspective at some point. Some boss, some manager is going to say, listen, you're not performing. You're not doing what you need to be doing. And in that moment, it's fight or flight. It's okay, I'm going to double down and get better. Or no, this isn't for me. My boss is mean. I better find something else.
Yeah, we found that it's like it's all roles. It's an intake role. We've had it with attorneys. We have it here at the agency with different roles. When you have a coach that actually cares, gives critical feedback because they want that person to develop into like what they've said they want to develop into. Like if you tell me you want to be, the greatest CEO in the world, and then I tell you all your flaws, and you decide that you're like, I can't do this here. This team sucks. They don't know how to grow. They don't know whatever. That's like you problem. Because you're going to complain about the opportunity, you're going to complain about the team, you're going to complain about all this stuff, and that's typically what we end up seeing is that it's typically poor performance, or I want to push this person to continue to grow, and it's like I don't want that. I don't want to grow. I don't want to get better. And really, what your coach and your boss is saying, maybe not directly, maybe not as clearly as you want to hear it, is I don't want you to get passed up. I don't want you to lose this opportunity. I don't want the next best person to come in and take your job. So I want you to continue growing. I want you to be here. I want you to grow. I want you to achieve your goals that you've told me. So I just think it's really important.
100%. I mean, this is you see this everywhere, not just in business, but in sports, right? Where a poor performer is either going to double down and step up, or they're going to complain and whine and go to the press and you demand a trade.
Yeah, exactly.
So our third point is more on the other side of the fence. When you're hiring someone, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, is that frequent job changes actually hurt your long-term earning kind of maximization. The short term may help you, right? It may changing jobs, you may get that pay bump, but over time, if you're really looking to maximize your earning potential, it's actually going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is especially true in the legal space. with attorneys, because what a current firm owner is looking for is someone that's going to come in and like they want to grow this business, they want to grow this firm, they want to see that over a season of time. That's not insignificant, and that's where you know becoming a potential income partner or becoming an equity partner in a firm. That's where it comes from. It comes from that long term investment, long term sweat equity, long term um, investment of time. It comes from that. Obviously, good performance as well, but like you may not be the top performer, but you may be consistently like the third or fourth best person in a firm of whatever size, and but you're always there. You always show up. You always have a great attitude. You're always helping the team get better. You're always doing all the things that actually make the business work. That's the person that's going to get the opportunity.
Yeah, it's so rare, and we see this both at our own firm and with our clients' firms. They don't ever bring in, oh, I'm going to bring in an equity partner tomorrow. It's no, this person's been here for 8 years. They've been consistent, and now we've promoted them to an equity partner. Let's have a celebration.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it definitely, like you said, I think it can help in the short term, but I think on a bigger scale, it definitely damages long term earning potential.
100%. The fourth point we're thinking about is the idea of focus. That if you can be consistent, if you can focus on growth, you are going to win in the long run. And again, back to just the cultural norms, right? Everybody wants instant gratification. They want it now. They want it yesterday. But that's not how life works. It's not how business works. It's not how law firms work. And so being able to be consistent and stay focused has got to be the key, right?
Yeah, and if we saw our growth at Sterling really explode when we got focused, and it's because what ended up happening is all of us started getting reps on the exact same thing over and over and over again. And you work. The rule of 10,000 hours comes into play, and the closer you get to that with all of the different skills that you need, because you're staying focused, you're staying in the same industry, you're staying in the same uh, type of role, but you're leveling up your skills. You become the expert. You then learn leadership skills. You then can start mentoring. You then really start to see your responsibilities expand and grow. And it's because you stayed focused in the long run about where you are, what your path is. You're not looking for something next week. And that's often, especially with younger folks, we want instant gratification. Like a lot of us have been conditioned now with cell phones and social media to like chase the instant gratification of that, or even Amazon, even Instacart. You can order. Well, I just saw an email come through from my wife. She put in an Instacart order from Costco, and it's going to get delivered to our door. Like it's all instant gratification now, right? So it's hard to like in the real world when I got to build and stack skills over a time period. It's hard to like disconnect from the everything should happen today type world we live in.
Yep, 100%. I totally agree. Final point, what do we do about it? What can we do as leaders of businesses and law firms to be able to kind of curb this trend?
Yeah, one thing that we do is we are so intentional with goals. So I think it's extraordinarily important for law firm owners, especially to start with them and then work with your most influential team members and then work with your whole team on setting up personal, professional, financial goals on a 1, 3, and 5 year time horizon, and then bring those into coaching. Like the team member will feel like you care about what they're trying to accomplish in their whole life. And you'll then have the opportunity to hold them accountable to those goals. You told me you want X. How are we doing on X? One of my goals for this year is I feel like I'm no longer in this period of my life where I want to be a bodybuilder. Like I want to get, I've been at 275 for about 5 years. I bulked up a ton. I want to get my weight down. I don't want to lose lots of muscle mass, but like I want to get down. So I track it. It's on my PPF goals. It's something that I write down every single morning in my notes. So you create a culture like that, you create accountability, and you start to see things happen. Um, and oftentimes, I, they're that may be the first time someone's actually invested in them. Like if you're running a law firm, um, it's very likely they've never had a boss actually ask them what their goals are. Like that won't be a surprise. It'll be a surprise as a team member. You might be surprised in that experience because nobody's probably asked them, and then actually had them present it, actually had them hold accountable. And we're going to talk about these every 2 weeks, and then we're going to develop a development plan for the next year about how you're going to work towards these goals. And it just changes the game. It helps the team member see where their future could be. Especially with our key team members here at Rocket Clicks. I want all of them to have like very clear. Very clear. Here are my next 3 moves. Like I need to develop X, Y, and Z. This is what it's going to mean for me from a title change. Here's what it's going to mean for me a comp change. And this is what we're going to be talking about. And then once I do that, here's the next one. And once I do that, here's the next one. And like I can see like, okay, like here's my next 3 years of development. Like I know I'm going to grow here. And that's going to be really rare. And that can really help curb the job hopping, create accountability, create a culture of growth. I think all that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this is not just theory. Like we have spent so much time and energy in building this orientated culture, and it hasn't been easy. And some team members haven't enjoyed the accountability of like, hey, if you write down your goals, we're going to hold you accountable to them, and we're going to talk to you about them. And so, if you're listening to this and you want to implement this, know that it's going to be bumpy, and it's going to take time to really shift your culture to more of one focused on growth and development. But it is so worth it. It is so gratifying as a leader to watch your team level up and achieve goals that maybe they didn't even think were possible when they wrote them down. So it is 100% worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a small thing. It's easily overlooked. But as a business owner, the thing that you care, the thing that keeps you up at night is like, I got payroll to run in 2 weeks. I got a lifestyle that I created for my family. I want to make sure that continues. That's really stressful. What that business owner really wants is someone that is on their team that continues to hit their goals. They see that over time because then they can trust them. And now that's how partnerships get created. It's actually how long-term earning potential grows because now they see it's not just like raising my hand and saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, but I'm not willing to do anything for it. It's, I want this. What do you want from me? Here's what I've done. Here's how I continue to support you. Here's how we're both continuing to grow. You just see it. It's just it's a different approach, and it takes time. And I think that's part of the biggest issue. It's like, gotta be patient. You just gotta invest. And like sometimes, I think oftentimes in success, people quit right before they're at the finish line. You're like
a day away from
you're like 95 yards down the field, and you're like 5 yards away from the goal line, and you're like, screw it, throw the flag in. We're done. We're gonna quit. It's like, why are we quitting? Like you're so close. Like you've been working on all of this, and like you're giving up on yourself. Like don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, well, I think that's the beauty of the accountability piece is that even if you give up on yourself, your team member, your coach, your manager is here to not give up on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And help raise your belief lid. Like, I think that's part of the problem. Like you have you have really good individual contributors that want to keep going. And basically you're going to give them skills you're going to ask them to develop skills they're not good at. And what becomes hard is that team member is an A+ in a bunch of different things. And you said, I want you to grow here. You're a C at this. And we forget what it took to become an A+ over here because we're already there. We forgot all the pain that all happened in the past. We had to do the same thing with this C+ skill and get that up. And like where you see that is like the frustration of that growth because it's hard and it's not linear. It's like, it's almost like secular, and you go forward one step, forward 2 steps, 1 step backwards, forward 2 steps, 1 step backwards. And like, that's how it should feel. That's how it's going to feel. So being patient with it, getting in that season and just kind of enjoying the process is kind of probably the biggest piece of advice I can give.
Hell yes, absolutely. This is so good. I'm like just jacked up thinking about all the things we've done and the journey that it's taken to get there. If you loved this episode on the grass is always greener theory, you will love this entire series that we're doing on sales in a law firm. But specifically, you'll love the next episode, which you can find right here, which is all on the commitment it takes to succeed in law firm sales. We're diving into what real commitment looks like and how to build it into your sales culture. Make sure to check it out, and we will see you there.